Welcome to the Div and our series on professional expectations. I'm Lieutenant Navy Alex Wood from 4th Canadian Division Public Affairs in Toronto, Ontario. As members of the profession of arms, we are held to high standards and are expected to uphold the values of the Canadian Armed Forces. Our 8 professional expectations are provided through the Canadian Armed Forces ethos, trusted to serve. Our topic today is duty, and joining me are Master Corporal Bernard Lord and Corporal Roopneet Dillon. Master Corporal Lord has served on division multinational exercises and domestic operations, such as Operation Laser, the response to COVID-19. He also served as a member of the Canadian Armed Forces International Sports Council Taekwondo team, participating in 3 World Games. Today, Master Corporal Lord works with the 4th Canadian Division Support Group Signal Squadron, providing communications and information technology deployment services to military organizations in southern Ontario. Corporal Roopneet Kaur Dillon is a first-generation settler on Turtle Island from the state of Punjab in India. Now working as a human resource administrator, Corporal Dillon has a Bachelor of Arts degree in English, but decided to further her education in the field of career counseling with a bachelor's degree in psychology. Corporal Dillon is a mother of a 10-year-old daughter who also aspires to join the forces when she grows up. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. So, I would like for the audience to get to know each of you just a little bit more beyond the bios there. And so I'll ask you both first, starting with you, Bernard.
Sure.
Why did you decide to join the military in the first place?
For me, joining the military, it was kind of a collision of all my worlds combined. I had the opportunity to come into the military. I was thinking originally medic, because I was in school for health services. But once I realized that I was good at that, I wanted to use the military as an opportunity to learn some skills that I wouldn't have learned in school. So I came in as an engineer. But after that, I quickly transitioned over to signals, which is what I'm in right now. And I also had the opportunity to utilize some of the resources for sports that were in the Army. So along with being a civilian Taekwondo athlete, I was able to come into the Army, learn some information technology, and also further my capabilities in Taekwondo.
Amazing. And so for you, Roopneet, what was it that inspired you to join and take on this career? I mean, coming from a place where you had a bachelor's degree in English and then another bachelor's degree in psychology, why a human resources administrator in the Army?
So I'm pursuing my bachelor's in psychology, and now after joining the military I decided to delve deeper into the field of career counseling. But originally the idea of joining came from, so after I immigrated to Canada, it was one way that I could think of to pay back to this land, to this country that I call home now. And this was a road less traveled by women of my community. And it was a challenge that I embraced because everybody told me that you cannot do this because it was considered really hard physically. Also being a mother in my mid-30s, I was told that I cannot do this. So this was a challenge that I embraced, and I was like, I am going to do this. I am going to prove myself. But also giving back. This is how I decided to give back to this country that I call home now.
Fantastic. So, you're at 4th Canadian Division now, the support base group with support base with human resources. What does a typical day look like for you now?
So in the office, I would say that it's a very normal or regular job. I reach office. We work for the members who are getting deployed. We work for their deployments. We work on their pay, on their everyday tasks, say the claims. Pay, I would say, most importantly, is our major task in the OR.
Outstanding. And so, Bernard, coming back to you, What would you say is the most exciting aspect of your role with the Signal Squadron?
An exciting aspect for my role, there's a lot of different things that you could do with the signals world. Whether you are in a administrative role and you are answering calls from a command post, to actually going out into the field, to resetting things like radios in places where usually people wouldn't put them across all of Ontario. I think the most exciting part, though, is being able to go from base to base, traveling, servicing these members, seeing how they do their job and what I could bring to them to help make their jobs more efficient.
Excellent. Well, you know, as I mentioned in the opening, you're here to be a part of our series on professional expectations. Both of you now, you know, a few years into your career as professional soldiers. And the topic that we're covering is duty. So I really want to talk to each of you a little bit about that concept and really get a feel for what that means to you personally as a soldier, as a person. So, you know, Rupneet, when you hear that term duty, aside from the sort of, you know, textbook or dictionary definition, what does that word mean to you?
It's a small word, but it has a big meaning. For me, any obligation, it can be our social obligations, our legal obligations, our civil obligations, that is duty. And putting in your 100% towards doing or accomplishing that task, with the commitment or dedication in everyday life for anything, and especially for the tasks assigned at work, at job, I consider that my duty.
And you know, you're also a mother, as
Right.
you mentioned. I imagine that comes with some duty as well, right? So
That
it's
is
not just a you know, your profession, but how does it incorporate into your everyday life?
Heavy responsibility, I would say. Being a mother, yes. But I've been able to juggle both, and grateful for the circumstances that I have at work, that I am able to do both. You know, being a mother and working full time as well. It's been going smooth. It had its challenges, but it's been going smooth for the past few years. And I would say it's been a learning curve to be a mother and a full-time worker as well.
And Bernard, you know, you mentioned yourself. You have other ambitions, things that you do, like Taekwondo, for example, on a very high level, 3 world championships, right? How does this idea of duty, how do you incorporate that into your life and the things that you do both professionally as well as in your personal life?
Involving the duty aspect of the military into my personal life, I would say that you leverage selflessness, right? So even though I might have my own aspirations, you do them with the utmost quality without being selfish at the same time. How can you bring other people along? How can you leverage all the experiences in life, in the military life as well, and combine them and package them, but not always have to wear the same hat, because at the end of the day, we are people just like everybody else. Giving that knowledge and passing that on to people that are younger than me, even talking to people that are older than me, and they kind of see the perspective as to, you know, you've seen a lot of things, you've done a lot of things, you've been to a lot of places around the world, different cultures, different religions, different types of people. How do you package that in a way so that people know exactly where you're coming from? I think that is one of the things that I've taken away from this, and it goes a long way to building a character, building a person, building your own, I would say, identity as well, while living within the identity of the institution that we provide for the country.
And I see you kind of nodding your head. What would you add to that, or maybe you know, take from what Bernard's saying there?
I share the similar sentiments. I agree with him that we try our best. We put in our 100% of the efforts in any task, and I think it's a way of life. The way we've been trained, be it personal life or professional life, we are taught to give our accomplish everything with the best of the excellence that we have, our commitment and dedication. So yeah, I share the similar sentiments that Master Corporal Lord has.
Bernard, I noticed you said something there about sort of in the sense of setting the example or imparting, these concepts and values to folks that are coming up, behind you in the organization. Describe for me a little bit, do you feel that somebody comes into the military that they already have a sense of duty? Or is it something that you could actually cultivate and develop in a person who maybe doesn't have as good a sense of direction when they first come in?
That's a good question. I think people come in, they have an idea of what they're getting into, and it gets reinforced after they've learned a couple of things while on the job that they could apply to that. They don't have the whole picture always, but they have to make best with what they have sometimes while learning how to do things better. It could be from, let's say, you have a strong ability to help people, but then if you overuse that ability to help people, you might be overlooking who's just good at something, and you can let them do their job, for example. Being in this type of environment, it allows you to learn these skills and learn how to leverage all these skills, whether it is talking to people, leading people, making decisions, packaging that all to make your own individual identity so that you could accomplish these tasks.
And Rupneet, so how do you impart a sense of duty? Like if you have folks that are subordinate to you that you're supervising and whatnot, how do you demonstrate or impart that or your philosophy to them?
I think it comes down to communication too, especially when it is between supervisors and subordinates, that how do you want them to accomplish a task, and leading by example. They obviously see you in action, and the way you are doing your duty, the way you are performing your task, they watch you, and I think as a supervisor you have to lead by example, and yeah, and the communication, of course. I really emphasize a lot on the communication, that how you communicate with your subordinates. They may have an idea of how to do things or what to do, but if you point them in the right direction and show them the path, I think that is also a huge responsibility and a part of the duty.
Have you ever had a situation in which you felt it was challenging to perform your duty as a soldier?
Yes, me and Master Corporal Lord, we were talking about this, and he came up with a great point that it's human nature to get biased or to feel the bias towards a few things. But when we know that this is our duty, we have to be absolutely unbiased, and that may portray as a challenge sometimes or sometimes a conflict of interest. There's a certain duty that we have to do, or certain policies and rules and regulations that we have to follow as per the military standards. But personally, I could be of a different opinion. However, I know that I have signed up for this, and this is, this is what I need to do, following my duty and instructions and orders, and not giving into the conflict of interest.
Bernard, how about yourself? Have you ever found yourself, I guess, in a situation where you disagreed with maybe a directive, an order, some task that you were given, and found that challenged your sense of what duty is?
I have been in that position, being a leader, a junior leader myself, But I think the distinction is that in an institution like this, it provides an opportunity for your voice to be heard, for your ideas to be heard. It doesn't go unheard. So if it was a place where I could think something, but I can't say it out loud, that could probably create a bit of dissidence. But because of the fact that you get asked questions, you get asked, what do you think about this? You get to present your idea, you get to present your methods, and what I truly believe is that we're building a way of incorporating the best ideas. Even though your whole idea might not go forward, part of your idea might be taken away to be put into a bigger idea so that we could successfully achieve a directive. Now, it might not look exactly the way how you want it, but being able to be heard, I think everybody wants to be heard, right? So in being heard and taking pieces out from what you've said, you've actually presented these ideas, and then they could go forward with accomplishing that task. Is it hard sometimes? Yes. But when you see the outcome of everybody's labor combined, that's fulfilling in itself.
So I really appreciate this conversation as we sort of, wind up our last part of the program here today. I'd like to get a sense of, what the future holds for each of you. So I'll start with you, Bernard. Where do you see yourself in this career, in the military, as a signal squadron person, doing the things that you do, or is there other ambitions you have? Where do you go from here in this career?
Well, the lucky thing about the Canadian Armed Forces is there's so many different types of occupations. There's so many types of different careers. And the career that I'm in right now, the sky's the limit. I could go as far as I want, as long as I want to keep putting my best foot forward and achieving each of my own individual goals plus the collective goals. You could go as far as you want. I see myself going until retirement, until the retirement age. If I could combine personal life with military life doesn't do anything that impedes my ability to live as just Bernard. So giving back to the things that allows me to live as Master Corporal Lord and being Bernard Lord at the same time, I could keep going. There's no end. There is no end. So I guess in the immediate future is to progress to the next level, which is more responsibility and bringing along people that are underneath me to get them into a position where they take my job.
Sounds great. Rupneet, for yourself, obviously you've mentioned, you want to continue your counseling, track in terms of your education and I guess professionally as well. And obviously, ways to go raising a lovely young daughter. What do you see as your future with the forces?
This is one of my favorite questions. I see a huge potential of growth in CAF. Like I mentioned that I'm doing my second bachelor's of psychology. I would love to go commissioning as a personal selection officer. And my second option is public affairs officer as a special commissioning program. And we'll see how that goes. But I am very happy with the opportunities that are provided to us in the CAF in terms of, say, the education, be it the reimbursement of the education or the opportunities for professional development, and time and opportunity to take some time off to even study and prepare for exams and assignments and all of that. So very grateful for those opportunities. And every time we sit with family and friends, and I let people know that how many trades we have, how diverse Canadian Armed Forces is. It's not just combat forces. There's a lot of opportunities, and anybody who's listening or watching this, they should absolutely explore any area of interest that they have. We have an opportunity here in the Canadian Armed Forces.
And perhaps in the future, mom and daughter might serve together.
Absolutely, that'd be lovely, yes.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Well, I want to thank both of you so very much for taking the time out here with us today to talk about this really important aspect of our profession of arms, this sense of duty. And I wish both of you the best as you move forward.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So thank you all for watching. This has been our first installment of the DIV, Professional Expectations. I'm Lieutenant Navy Alex Wood for 4th Canadian Division Public Affairs. Please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We look forward to seeing you on the next episode.